Whether you're new to Cami or were perhaps maybe disappointed in Cami's performance in the past, I'm here to tell you that I am a Cami um, convert. I'm a big proponent of a lot of what Cami can do, but was not thrilled with their read aloud option because it tended to stop reading at the end of a line. The latest upgrade in Cami has changed all of that, and now they run OCR, which is text recognition within an image, in lightning speed, and convert it to something that Cami or Read and Write or Select to Speak or any of our options here for students are able to read with ease. So let me show you Cami Read Aloud as our kind of maybe even the best option moving forward for especially for PDFs. So for anything with images or any PDF document, whether that's something that may be used at middle or elementary school, like New York State Conservationist Magazine, which, by the way, I did not preload. I just simply Googled it and opened it with Cami, and or something like a global studies assignment. So here in this global studies assignment, you can clearly see there's some text here, and nothing is perfect. It would read this part, I'm guessing, a little strange. Let's try it. Okay, I'm not terribly unimpressed. I actually think that's pretty good. Pretty good. So let's say if I tried to do that with Select to Speak, it would look something like this, or it would sound something like this. So pretty similar. If you, I went to this assignment just to give you some examples of how different things read it. If I went to Immersive Reader, here are the directions in this assignment. Immersive Reader is a great option in Schoology to have the directions read. I clicked on Immersive Reader. I'm pressing play. Okay, so obviously, depending on how it's typed and interpreted, the OCR was not run on this, so that's kind of what I wanted to show you here. In Cami, that text recognition was run, so it recognized that when typed, the underscore 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 was supposed to be a singular blank. So that's how it was read. And fortunately, once that happened, all the other tools that we can use to read it aloud will probably also read it as the blank because it's reading it as the interpreted text. So if I used Read and Write for this, let's just test it. Skipping it all together. Okay, so those are the differences between our options. Cami does a beautiful job reading out loud, but what I'm really impressed with is how it works in something like a table. So let me click down here. So in that first one, it did sort of pause at the end of each line, but not terribly. And if I ran it using the screenshot reader, I would probably draw a box around one side at a time. So it skipped lines altogether. So Cami was more successful than Read and Write in this instance. So that's amazing to know, and I'm really excited about that. I would also like to show you how easy it is to switch voices in Cami. I have 4 selected here. I believe the default is 1. So that's the default one. And you can play around with these. You can also, let's go with 3, and I'm going to press play. And let's say I didn't like the pitch, that I wanted it to be lower, so I'm going to lower her pitch by quite a bit. It makes her sound a little more robotic, if you ask me. I also tend to slow the speed down for some of my students. Oops, sorry. And some of them even slower than that. So I might go as far as 0.8, but I let them play around with it. And that's particularly helpful when they're reading above, when the text is above their reading level, or even the content has really heavy vocabulary. So, yay for Cami. I'm going to highlight this. So I still think that's really fast. I would slow it down a lot more when reading this. So I'm going to drop it down to 7, press save, and let's try that again. You can see that you have to play with it. That sounds almost a little too slow. So let's go back over to here. And in this children's magazine, if I wanted to read aloud, I can actually, whoops. Ooh, let's speed that back up, sorry. And I'm going to switch to 4. And I did it again, sorry. So it read conservationist and it read connect. Let me actually highlight connect with parks and see what happens. Okay, so it's reading what I want it to read. One tricky thing about Cami is if you try to drag, you have to make sure you go back to select before you scroll with your mouse. You can scroll with your keyboard easily though. Then you go back to read aloud and you can see. I love it. It's beautiful. Now I wanted to show you one more piece here. So this is, I'm just so impressed. And here is a review assignment for global. I'm going to scroll back up to the top. Give me a moment. Oh, I want to point out that, to my knowledge, nothing will really read the inside of this map. I can't highlight those words. If I drew a box around it with any of my other tools, it won't read it. So there are some limitations. So if you're thinking about in a testing situation, you might want to have someone nearby and have students raise their hand when they get to a map. But it will read a lot of text built in. So let's say I wanted to have join or die read. It doesn't seem to want to do that for me. Okay. Up there, it's working. So, okay, here's a limitation. Cami's not reading that join or die, but I know that Cami did a beautiful job with OCR because I tried this earlier. So OCR again is that text recognition within an image, and it recognizes this if I use read and write. So it's just a matter of which ones work best in which situations. But again, if that's the only limitation is that Cami didn't read join or die, a student can raise their hand and say, can you tell me what this says?